When the narcissist waited for you to beg and you never did. That's the title of this video. There's a moment in every narcissistic relationship that feels like a quiet battlefield. No shouting, no pleading, no dramatic collapse, just silence. That silence is powerful because the narcissist expected something else entirely. They expected you to come back, to chase, to explain, to apologize for things you didn't even do. They expected tears, late-night messages, long paragraphs filled with longing and confusion. They expected you to beg, and when you didn't, that is where the real story begins. The narcissist script, how it was supposed to go. A narcissist operates on a predictable emotional script. It usually looks like this: idealization, that is where you are perfect. Devaluation, that's where you're the problem. The discard, that is where you are nothing. Then there's hovering, that is where you are needed again. But the key fuel behind this cycle is your reaction. They don't just want control, they want visible proof of that control. Begging is proof. When you beg, you confirm that they matter more than you. When you beg, you confirm that you depend on them. When you beg, you confirm that they can leave and return at will. In their mind, the ending was already written. You were supposed to fall apart. So why they expected you to beg? The narcissist didn't randomly assume you would beg. They trained you to. Over time, they conditioned you to seek their approval. Over time, they made you feel responsible for their moods. Over time, they created emotional dependency. Over time, they withdrew love to increase your depression, to increase your desperation. It is like teaching someone to breathe underwater, then suddenly removing the air. They expect panic because panic means power. The turning point is when something changed in you, but something shifted, maybe slowly, maybe painfully, maybe after one final moment that broke something inside you. You got tired, not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that comes from explaining yourself over and over, being misunderstood intentionally, loving someone who only loved control, losing yourself piece by piece, and then quietly, without announcement, you stopped. The power of not begging. Not begging is not weakness. It is awakening. It means you chose dignity over attachment. It means you chose silence over self-betrayal. It means you chose clarity over confusion. You didn't react the way they expected, and that disrupted everything. Because narcissists rely on predictable emotional responses. When you don't respond, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is something they cannot control. What happens inside the narcissist when you don't chase? They won't show it openly, but internally, several things begin to happen. One is confusion. They replay the situation. Why aren't they calling? Did I miscalculate? Then there's the ego injury. Their sense of superiority gets shaken. You are supposed to need them. Now it looks like you don't. Then there's obsession. Ironically, your silence makes you more interesting. People want what they can't control. And then there's anger. Not because they miss you, but because they lost power over you. The waiting game, the expected time to break you. Narcissists are patient when it comes to control. They believe give it a few days, they'll reach out. They believe they always come back. They believe they can't survive without me. So they wait. But this time something unusual happens. You don't return. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. And their confidence starts to crack. Your silence speaks louder than words. Silence is often misunderstood. People think silence means weakness, fear, indifference. But in this case, silence means I see you clearly now. I will not participate in my own distraction. I choose myself. And that message hits deeper than any argument ever could. The collapse of their control. Control is the narcissist's oxygen. When you stop reacting, they can't manipulate you. They can't provoke you. They can't predict you. It is like trying to play chess with someone who simply walks away from the board. There is no game anymore, and that terrifies them. Why not begging hurts them more than you think? Begging feeds their ego, but your silence, it questions their worth. They begin to wonder, was I not important? Did I lose my grip? Have they replaced me? It flips the power dynamic completely. Now they are the ones seeking validation. The Hoover attempt is when they come back. Eventually, many narcissists try to return, not out of love, but out of unfinished control. They may send casual messages. They may pretend nothing happened. They may apologize without real accountability. They may test if you are still available, but this time you are different. You are no longer the person who would beg. The internal war within you, that is, not begging doesn't mean you didn't feel pain. You did. You may have wanted to text them. You may have replayed memories. You may have questioned your decision. You may have felt lonely. But growth often feels like loss before it feels like freedom. You chose long-term peace over temporary relief. The identity shift is who you became. By not begging, you redefined yourself. You became someone who sets boundaries, someone who respects themselves, someone who walks away from disrespect. You stopped being a source of supply, you became a person again. What they learned, even if they never admit it, is that narcissists rarely admit lessons, but they notice patterns. And this time the pattern broke. They learned not everyone stays, not everyone begs, not everyone can be controlled. And that realization stays with them. Now, what is the freedom that you gained? When you didn't beg, you didn't just lose a person. You gained emotional independence, clarity, self-respect, inner strength. You stopped living in reaction. You started living in intention. The final truth is that you won without fighting. The narcissist expected a war. They expected arguments. They expected pleading. They expected drama. Instead, you gave them something they couldn't fight, calm detachment. And that is the most powerful position of all, because in the end, they lost control. You found yourself. So, in conclusion, there's a quiet kind of victory that doesn't look dramatic. No applause, no announcements, just peace. The narcissist waited for you to beg. They were certain you would, but you didn't. And in that single decision, you broke a cycle that may have trapped you for years. Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is nothing at all. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel.